updates here on NewsX World. Speaking of Trump, the US president has marked his first 100 days back in office with a surge of executive actions. These include 3 major orders announced on Monday. First, a renewed crackdown on sanctuary cities. Federal officials are now directed to list jurisdictions resisting immigration enforcement and to identify funding that can be cut, even as courts have ruled against such moves. Second, support for law enforcement. The Attorney General will provide legal aid to officers facing lawsuits over actions taken on duty, while also holding local officials accountable for obstructing criminal law enforcement. Third, a nationwide English requirement. Commercial drivers, including truckers, must now read and speak English, aimed at boosting safety and communication on US roads. According to the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, these latest actions bring Trump's total to over 140 executive orders in just the 100 days, nearly matching the total signed by Joe Biden during his entire 4-year term. Well, joining us to discuss these executive orders on Trump's 100th day in office is Scott Faulkner, head of the Eagle Enterprises, a security firm based in Washington. Scott also joining us from Washington as well. Scott, thank you for being here with us today. I want to touch on that last point that I made. 140 executive orders in 100 days, nearly matching the Biden total from his full term. What does that say about Trump's goals and aims during his second term as the US president?
Well, Trump definitely learned a lot of lessons from the first term, where he started slow. He did not clear out the House in terms of all the appointees. He did not appoint that many people this time around. He is moving with lightning speed. Some would say, probably using the Iraq war analogy, shock and awe, that he has been very aggressive, because on one front he thinks he needs to roll back so much of the last 4 years just to get back to normal, let alone move forward on his own agenda. So it's a very aggressive, very widespread, lightning speed 100 days.
Yes, Scott, looking at these 3 new executive orders that Trump has announced and signed, I want to look first at the English-speaking aspect of this. Is this tying in at all with any of his immigration aims, or is this just a move to make sure that everybody can speak English?
I think it's probably a little bit of both, but I think really it's mostly everyone speaking English. If you look at the aviation industry worldwide, everyone in the cockpit and everyone in air traffic control are required to speak English, no matter if you're with Air India or Air France or Thai Air or Emirates or whatever, so that everybody is speaking the same language. And in terms of black boxes, should any incidents happen, everybody is speaking the same language. So this has been a standard for literally 50 years or more in the aviation industry, so why not do it for trucking?
Yes, Scott, moving on now to looking at listing jurisdictions that are resisting immigration enforcement. Of course, immigration is such a key point in Trump's election campaign and in his early days of this second term. What will this actually mean moving forward in terms of real life impacts?
It's about the flow of dollars. That, again, the federal government provides a lot of grants to and other support to jurisdictions, counties, states, municipalities, and they always basically add requirements that if you don't do X, Y, and Z, you're not going to get your next grant. And so the same thing goes here, that sanctuary cities are basically reneging and really unconstitutionally ignoring federal law, and they should not be rewarded for that. So the Trump administration is basically saying, you do not have an inherent right to grants and aid. You have to apply for these, and we can add this additional criteria that if you're basically ignoring federal law, we are not going to give you the money you're asking for.
Yes, Scott, and I want to look at this third and final executive order that's been announced in the past 24 hours, looking at providing legal aid to officers and law enforcement who are facing lawsuits, but also holding local officials accountable for obstructing criminal law enforcement. What is the motive behind this move?
I think that over the last several years under Biden, Americans saw how people were being abused, Jewish students being stopped from going onto campuses to go about their own academic business, vandalism and other activities happening, and local jurisdictions either refusing to arrest, or once they've arrested, it's sort of like catch and release. And so this holding people accountable again to the rule of law, that if laws are broken, people should be arrested. If laws are broken, people should be prosecuted. And some of these left-wing activist groups trying to freeze police activity and other law enforcement by doing civil suits, this not only levels the playing field, it basically brings the playing field back to the rule of law.
Yes, Scott, we do have a special programme in just under an hour where we will be assessing Trump's first 100 days in office during his second term. But I'd like your overall opinion on how successful it has been from the point of view of Trump carrying out what he said he would in his election campaign.
I think he's historic. I mean, when you look at the 100-day criteria was started by under Franklin Roosevelt in 1933 in his first 100 days, where he basically established the New Deal. And then again, you look at the first 100 days of Lyndon Johnson in 1965, where he established the Great Society. That we're really looking at Trump's explosion of activity and forward movement, and basically in that kind of historical context that we're looking at. And of course, the other two were Democrat liberals. We now have a conservative Republican. So it really is historic on all fronts. I mean, I was with Reagan, and we did a lot in 100 days, but we had a much more paced first term. So Trump is really, I mean, when you look at the border, when you look at the at things like the tariffs, when you look at the again, not only reversal of Biden, but assertion of basically Americanism for getting rid of diversity, equity, inclusion, and things like that. That he is, and then DOGE. I mean, he is moving on an incredibly broad front. Some people might think maybe at times blunt instruments were used where more laser focus could be done. I think those are quibbles. He's trying to, I mean, if you want to use the analogy of maritime, he saw the ship of state of America heading toward breaking up on the rocks, and he's given the wheel a spin to try to put us back on course.
Scott Faulkner, thank you ever so much for joining us. As I alluded to there, at 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time, we will